Welcome to Washburn's Open House Materials. I am Emily Palmer, the proud principal here at Washburn, and this particular segment is just about the district's comprehensive design and what its impact may be on Washburn. So our attendance area is changing a little bit. Not a lot, but there are some changes, so I will walk you through what those changes are since they do affect the coming school year. The district is creating a K-12 pathway for Washburn from the elementary schools that you can see on the screen: Lindale, Barton, Burroughs, Halefield. All four of those will be K-5, and then we'll all channel to Justice Page Middle School, and then students coming from Justice Page to Washburn. That is the pathway plan. Some families will also choose magnet schools, and they could still also choose to come to Washburn. So there are three changes to our boundaries: one to the north, a couple to the east, and then a larger change on the south. And I want to walk through each one of those. So first, on the north side, our boundary is intact at 36th Street coming out of the lake. This is Bedamakoska here coming out of the lake, but the boundary now comes over to Lindale before it goes up to Lake Street. So Lindale is new. It used to be DuPont, so there is a little section here that is no longer in the Washburn attendance area. So again, we come up Lindale to Lake Street over to Chicago as we did before. On the eastern side, the boundary at Chicago remains the same. However, it comes over at 42nd Street now, which is a change. It used to be 46th. So between 46th and 42nd, this is a new area for us. And then it comes over to Bloomington, which is also different. It used to be that it went from 46 to Cedar, and you can see Cedar here. So we lost a little area here east of Bloomington, but west of Cedar, that had been in our attendance area and is no longer. So at this point, the boundary goes from Bloomington down to the creek, over to Cedar, and then it goes only down to 56. So this is another change for us. Our southern boundary no longer goes all the way down to Richfield. So this section that's east of 35W used to go all the way down to Richfield. It does not anymore. So now it cuts over at 56th and then comes up here around and over, and this is probably 54th is my guess. So that means this whole area south of 56th Street is no longer our attendance area. So that's the biggest change. And then coming over to 35W, we're coming up to the creek instead of coming over at 54th. So our boundary used to be 54th right here. That is no longer the boundary. So now it's up at the creek, and then at one point here, it's 52nd, and then back to the creek. And then this is Penn on the west side, which has not changed. So our western boundary is still Penn up into Lake Harriet. So obviously, if these boundaries are not what you were hoping to hear, students absolutely can apply to the high school of their choice. We encourage students to do that. It is a district process, so I don't get to pick, but we certainly would encourage every family to make their first choice within the process that's just opening up. One other piece I wanted to just mention: you may be aware that the district has been talking about creating a CTE center and taking our engineering courses and sort of all of the computer tech engineering courses and centralizing them in one place. That is still years away, so it didn't happen. All of our courses are still intact, and they will be intact for the coming year. They will be intact the year after that. 2023 is a year that the district has put out there, but we're not quite sure what would be moving at that time. So certainly, if engineering is important to you, Washburn is still serving that need. If you have questions after you've watched this, I would welcome them. We definitely want to help you make sure that you know what the parameters are and just anything that you're curious about. So email is the best way to reach me. Also, you can certainly call by phone. We're not in the building every single day now because of COVID, but I would welcome you to reach out. Happy to have conversations about this or about anything else that you're wondering about Washburn. So thank you for your time. Very much appreciate you. Have a great evening.